This is the story of two divergent paths that somehow led to one another and then merged to evolve the way that music is presented and experienced in this new music industry.
It was a mind-blowing visual experience. People were really drawn in.
One path across 3 continents, taken by an award-winning sound designer for television. The other, an artist intertwining music and film together into a live multimedia experience.
It kind of helped him inspire people and show people that no matter how bad things get and no matter what you're going through, there's always a light at the end of the tunnel.
And when they were to meet, these 2 diverse winding roads led to one unexpected destination.
Just to create a world that got the message to the viewer in a way that I've never seen before.
It was a journey fraught with personal trials and tribulations that nearly left one of them blind with chronic illness.
A small part of a much bigger disease or bigger syndrome.
But instead, a miraculous recovery began to inspire people around the world to overcome challenges in their own lives.
To follow that dream, don't give up.
Music doesn't have to have the message of inspiration, it just does.
This is a journey traveling back in time to where this inspiring story of the triumph of the human spirit all began. This is the story of XTHC. XTHC's Chris Ninja Boy Liang spent his early years sojourning from London to Hong Kong and from Singapore to Borneo, becoming a martial arts practitioner of Bruce Lee's Jeet Kune Do. Applying the wisdom gained from those martial arts to his music, he continued to sojourn to Boston, where he graduated from the Berklee College of Music and then to New York City, performing as a rock musician at venues all across the East Coast and perfecting his recording, mixing and sound design skills at Sony Studios, Cliff Schwartz Music, Audio Dojo and City Lights Media. There, he created award-winning mixes for film and television that features Myanmar, Bridges to Change, Kiss Me Again and Suicide Killers, and HBO's The Sopranos, VH1's classics That Metal Show, and hundreds of spots for HBO, VH1, Sci-Fi, Nickelodeon, National Geographic, and many more. And there, in New York City, Chris met someone who took another road less traveled, XTHC's Michael Nova. Exemplifying a true comeback story after recovering from serious illness and the brink of blindness, artist and entrepreneur Michael Nova has been called an existential explorer, a powerful performer, composer, filmmaker, and producer, as well as president of Nova Music Productions Incorporated. Michael was featured in the New York Times as a pioneer in providing multiple services to independent artists in the music industry. As a vocalist, Michael toiled around the New York City music scene for years without any real success, finally culminating in his teaching himself several instruments, writing songs that would eventually become the music and film multimedia project X, The Human Condition, over 12 years later. Songs that told the story of his own feelings of alienation and always feeling like an outsider. He felt it a mission to connect through his music to others who felt the same, sent out like a message in a bottle.
I knew that many people have these feelings of not fitting in, feeling different, searching for their place in the world, and I wanted them to know you're not alone.
He began to explore and study hypnotherapy and neuro-linguistic programming as a way to understand those feelings of this human condition in both himself and others. All of this was reflected in the song compositions, taking on a haunting yet hopeful quality dominated by choir-like vocals.
That message transmits with me. I could listen to it and I know I could almost be feeling what he's feeling when he wrote that. And that kind of transference doesn't happen with a lot of bands today.
what struck me was how really original it was. It wasn't like somebody trying to be another artist with their own take. It was fresh, it was authentic, and it was really intriguing.
Feedback on the songs were positive, but they needed to be produced professionally and molded into what Michael envisioned.
In today's music marketplace, no matter how good a song is, it's got to have a certain sonic quality, a mastered sound, or else nobody is going to be interested in it.
Placing an advertisement in New York's Village Voice newspaper, Michael met with a host of producers over several years, but the song's moody chord structures didn't seem to fit in with anyone's style until Chris showed up with a demo that resonated with what Michael had been searching for. Within a few days, they were working together on what was to eventually become X, the Human Condition.
With my music, the common thread is always mood, and I felt there was a connection there.
Yeah, I think Chris understood what I was going for. The emotion, the feeling.
I could really imagine a lot of things in my head, like layers of sounds, textures, things that I could add to the material.
But for Michael, music was not enough. Through his experiments with hypnotherapy and neuro-linguistic programming, he felt that the album had to be heard and seen to be felt. So he began to produce an animation-based telling of his story to be projected during live performances. A surreal journey into the subconscious that would inspire people to rise above challenges in life.
If you feel like you have a story that's really inspirational, you have something that's happened, there's something inside you that you feel will inspire people, and you should feel almost driven to share that with the world, because it's pretty much what we're put here to do.
Michael was determined to create something unique, but was told by many experts in the entertainment industry that this ambitious project couldn't be completed on the shoestring budget that Michael had saved up over the years. But this just fueled him even more. He spent over a year in production, working 16 hours a day, and with the help of a group of independent 3D animators, created his first film. But he found that pouring thousands of dollars from his pocket into this labor of love was draining him, and drained him even further when he realized the animation was not working. Meanwhile, Chris, tired of waiting, abandoned the project.
I really wanted to move on to do something else.
But Michael was driven to carry on, finally realizing that the film had to be real to have an impact. So he shelved the project and rewrote the script from scratch in the new live-action format.
They were striving to create in a visual medium what I think we as hypnotists attempt to do auditorily. We tell stories, we create imagery in the mind, but this is doing something even deeper. It's taking that and making the visual medium and the imagery and the symbolism all kind of tying together in this extraordinary experience, really, honestly, that I had not seen before.
It's funny that one person saw the film trailer and they said, "Oh, it's too dark for me." And I said, that's absolutely necessary to show the transition from dark to light, because that's where the magic is. In that gray space between dark and light, that space, that choice, I think that's what determines the happiness in our lives.
Michael took money out of his business to fund the new film and managed to find cast and crew that believed in the positive message of the project. One that would inspire people with the message, "You are not alone." But less money meant more challenges to overcome. Though all of the cast and crew cut their rates or worked for free, Throughout the process, there came more and more obstacles every step of the way. Dates were scheduled and cancelled over and over again. For months, he began losing conviction, but was in too deep financially to quit.
It's always easier to just give up and fall back on something that's comfortable, but something drives us, something drives the artist's soul.
It was now the holiday season, but not for Michael, as he focused all his attention on the project without a break, and suddenly found his business financially overdrawn and in trouble. He lost 10 pounds off his already thin frame and fell into dark depression.
It was shocking, and I did not really understand how depressed he was.
After a particularly difficult day shooting outdoors in stormy winter conditions, he finally resolved to give up on the film, the project, and living.
I mean, when I looked at him, I could sense he wasn't there physically, and I was concerned of his mental well-being too.
You know, people, you believe in something, sometimes they don't believe all the way, so they say, let me see if I can get money from people, let's see if they believe in it. If they're gonna give me money, they might believe in it, I don't need anybody to give, they didn't need anyone to give them money, they believed in it.
And that belief kept both Michael and the project alive. With no funds remaining for post-production, a small group of professional editors volunteered to begin editing X, The Human Condition, while Michael taught himself basic editing skills, once again working up to 16 hours a day. But now his life took an unexpected turn. After a few weeks of learning yet another new skill, editing, and finding new energy in the project, he suddenly found himself fighting 3 serious physical ailments at the same time. A serious eye condition called uveitis, coupled with pigment dispersion syndrome and chronic kidney disease.
Uveitis doesn't present on its own. It's usually a small part of a much bigger disease or bigger syndrome.
I was perfectly healthy, and then suddenly hit with this eye problem. So I went to see a doctor who diagnosed conjunctivitis. But those eye drops didn't make me feel better. They made me feel worse.
So I received a phone call from Michael, and he described his symptoms to me. It sure didn't sound like conjunctivitis to me, and I told him he needed to get a second opinion.
I lived in darkness because any light at all would cause unbearable pain.
It could definitely lead to permanent vision loss.
Getting that second opinion was crucial. Through extensive testing, it was found that Michael had chronic kidney disease and several other conditions that needed immediate treatment. He was told that if he had waited one more day to seek a second opinion on his illness, he would have lost his vision permanently. But Michael fought back. With the help of a team of dedicated eye specialists, he began to slowly recover over time, changing his diet drastically, incorporating a strict regime of healthy food and supplements, and exercising daily. Eventually, 1 year later, a follow-up examination revealed a surprise that no one saw coming. There was no sign of pigment dispersion syndrome nor uveitis in Michael's eyes. After over a year of fighting the illnesses, he had made an unexpected, complete recovery, including reversing the effects of kidney disease exclusively through alternative medicine, proving the experts wrong.
Well, as a cancer survivor, I understand the struggle, the amount of courage it takes to get through something that seems insurmountable. But when you come out on the other side, then you are an example to all the others that will follow you.
There's always periods of darkness in people's lives, and periods of darkness actually make you appreciate the light more. And I think that was one of the main metaphors and focuses of the project, and I think that's what everybody will see readily with their own eyes and will feel readily with their own heart.
I think it's so important when someone is met with this kind of adversity that they turn it into a positive for somebody else who's out there fighting. Not everybody gets that gift or has that kind of strength, and sometimes that can be passed on by someone like Michael.
But perhaps the strangest part of the journey was the enigmatic image on X, the Human Condition's album cover, which foreshadowed Michael Nova's eye illness over a year before it ever began.
He had no idea that that was going to happen to him. And when you look at that cover now, it's really kind of ironic about that image turning into his real life experience.
It's kind of spooky how it foretold the eye problems that Michael was going to have during the making of the film, and how the album and the film were his vision, his inner vision, and how he was literally losing that vision.
The image in the eye of the subject on the cover was meant to represent many things. A reflection of this person's life, a need to connect with another, a desire to help others, a challenge to overcome, and the child within us all. All of these became real and apparent to X, the Human Condition's creator.
Though I've never learned to swim, I will ride upon the waves with him, and then together we will sail.
Michael's recovery, in spite of what the experts said, is exactly the message that I want to send to women with MS. Just to hang in there and not give up.
Creating the band name X, THC as the acronym for X, the Human Condition, Michael, with Ninja Boy's music programming and co-production, finally released the innovative music and film multimedia project X, the Human Condition in 2010, 12 years after its inception. On its shoestring budget, with the DIY, do-it-yourself aesthetic that persevered above all challenges, proving the experts wrong again.
That sound is so vibrant, and the fact that they had no budget doing it, there are people that spend millions of dollars that don't sound as good as that.
This was able, in a way I've never really quite seen before, to bring together all these different media, the visual, the symbolism, the music, just to create a world that got the message to the viewer in a way that I've never seen before. It just got the message deep down inside that, you are not alone.
Look, life is too short to care what people think. Growing up, I always felt like an outsider trying to fit in, but now I don't want to fit in. I just want to let other people know that it's okay not to fit in, and that you're not alone.
I think everybody who came to the event, and it was packed, was really moved by the combination of film and live band.
People were really drawn in, like they were consumed by what XTHC was putting out. And I think that was one of the main points that drew my attention, because to see a crowd kind of adopt music and then make it its own and really, really feel it and be fully attentive to it, it's a hard thing in these days. But I think the music of XTHC really draws you in, and it drew a lot of people in when I saw it live.
I'm gonna be happy, Mr. Happy.
Getting it out in the world, that's part of the struggle. But without the struggle, then there's no great reward.
Synthesizing music, film, and an unforgettable live experience, XTHC evolved and redefined how a live show is presented and experienced within the model of a new music industry.
The show was amazing tonight. You know, Michael, very creative artist. It's totally different than what most people see.
I loved it. I loved especially the camera work and the cinematography was really amazing. The fact that it sort of integrated the audience and it brought in, you know, a lot of visual elements. Compelling. It definitely pulled me in.
It was something really special, something with meaning, something like first time that I saw something like this.
They'll take your heart and your home. Beware the banksters, banksters. They'll never leave you alone.
Michael wanted to create something, to put something into the world to help people, make the world a better place. And a lot of people would say that's a pipe dream. But then he did it. He's helped people.
I don't want people to feel happy when they hear my music. I want people to feel like they want to keep fighting, to keep carrying on. Because life isn't a fairy tale, but it can be a fairy tale in reverse if you're not strong. So if there's one thing that I can give to someone else, it's strength. Because your strength, your courage, your endurance, your resilience can never be taken away from you. You have to give it away to lose it.
A tribute to the strength of the human spirit in and of itself, X, the human condition, has made a real difference by donating most of its proceeds to charity and inspiring people all over the world to overcome obstacles in life. Walking a tightrope between electronic pop music and avant-garde performance art, X THC performed live with a 40-minute narrative film projected behind the band, wearing white for maximum visual impact. The music and acting performances supplied the film's storyline rather than dialogue.
You know, second, third time I watched it, I just saw more and more into it. Every visual, every symbol, everything was an allegory, and it all layered on top of each other. The story on the surface was not just the only story. There were deeper and deeper levels. The more you saw it, the more you got from it.
Invincible with you by my side. Invincible with you by my side.
The people walking backwards, the way that was shot, those were the ones that moved me emotionally. Probably because I have had that experience of feeling that I don't fit what the quote-unquote normal person's life is or what the normal person looks like. So I definitely identified with being the person who's walking in one direction and everybody else is going the other way.
More than just eye candy, the film struck an emotional chord with audiences. An allegorical story of two individuals sentenced to solitary confinement inside their own minds, searching for human connection, each sending out their own kind of message in a bottle out to the world, leading to XTHC sending out their own message of persevering, determination to never give up.
Breaks the dawn. The silence surrounds in waves.
The human condition is changing, and with the preponderance of mobile around the world and screens around the world, it's different. And I think that actually this movie and the songs speak to the difference.
It seems though, even though we're connected so much more with people via the phone and text and email and social media, there's still a disconnect between us on a personal level.
To date, the little indie project that could has received rave reviews globally, from as far as Australia, Greece, Portugal, Turkey, Italy, Argentina, Germany, Colombia, the Virgin Islands, Mexico, Poland, Brazil, Albania, Russia, Hungary, Latvia, the UK, Peru, and Japan. And the music has been featured on Continental Airlines programming, the Dew Tour video, and as the theme song for Mexican TV's popular program Las Trampas del Deseo.
artists make an album and then they sit around and wait for something to happen. What impressed me the most were all the side projects, all the artistry that these two guys have brought to their work. The intentions for the live shows, the videos, the concept of reaching out to a global community, not sitting around waiting for a record label to sign them or promote them, not sitting around saying, I'm not writing any new music because I've got this one album. If you're an artist, you're in it for the long haul.
And thinking past this one message in a bottle, reaching people, THC realized that if this one message could make a difference, 100 messages could do so much more. RiseUp8.org was founded, featuring many people's real-life personal stories of rising above challenges in life, with the website serving as a worldwide forum of inspiration. And to promote the website, THC resolved to title their new follow-up album, Fall Down 7 Times, Rise Up 8, continuing the journey.
Yeah, fall down 7 times, rise up 8. Because when you're going through adversity, it isn't until afterwards that you understand why. So now I can see that all that was necessary to the creation of Rise Up 8 to further the exploration of X, the human condition, in a way I never even dreamt of originally.
You know, fall down 7 times, rise up 8. No matter how many times you fall, everybody that's successful will tell you, you know, you have to fail a bunch of times to succeed.
People make music all over the world, and it you know, sometimes they make it because they want to sell it. They believe that the music they're making is what the masses want to hear. But then there's people who don't give a shit what the people want to hear. They want to put out the music that their heart's telling them to put out. And that's what this album is. Not that, you know, THC doesn't care what the fans think, but they are going to make fans who believe in their organic sound. The sound is organic, it's not contrived.
A collaborative, next-level production, with Ninja Boy and Michael reunited, the new album pays homage to new wave, blue-eyed soul, post-punk, and electronica, while adding THC's own seductive, hypnotic flavor. The new album will be preceded by a special online release of X, the Human Condition, in a series of 10 music video webisode chapters.
One of the other things I noticed is that, you know, X, the Human Condition, X is the Roman numeral for 10, and there were 10 chapters in this film as well. So it was just another example of how there are so many different, multiple layers and meanings that you can see from different aspects through the prism, you know.
I'm actually thankful for what happened, because without what happened, I would never have realized how important it is to just appreciate every breath. Things that we never even take a moment to think about. And with all the money troubles and all the stress that I had, I have no doubt nearly cost me my vision. But it was when I could not see that I saw what could not be seen.
People latch on to music all the time because it feeds them. It feeds them with energy. But actually having it, you know, surround you and basically fuel you and bring you up and really challenge you to be better than you way you were yesterday is part of it. And I think it's in the sound. Like, it's actually in the music.
The music has so much emotion and depth that it kind of takes you out from your personal space and takes you actually into the story.
There are people we meet in our lives that have come through a struggle, and they're an inspiration to us to follow that dream. Don't give up, to be better and do more with your life.
I think all labels should be listening to this and at least either take notes or sign these fuckers.
The band that proved the experts wrong, this little indie project that could, seems to have made a difference, with fans writing in from all across the globe. One fan wrote, I love listening to your music when I'm feeling down or hopeless. It inspires me to stay strong and not give up on life. And with that, according to ex-THC's Chris Ninja Boy Liang and Michael Nova, their two divergent paths and long winding roads have led to one unexpected destination. A destination worthy of the name, the human condition.
For 12 years, I was driven to create this, to send this musical message in a bottle out to the world. And for 12 years, I thought this was important. But what happened on the way to tell a message was just as important. The journey was the most important message of all.